So what happens when I file a claim? I send it in. Well, there's a first-time claimant service. It's called FTCAS, where they may want to come out and talk to you and say, well, you're a first-time claimant, and CRA is going to explain its view of the system, kind of like what I did, but without all the legislation and laws. Or if you've claimed before, you can have something called a PCPR, Pre-Claim Process Review, which once I've done one successful claim, and it's not really meant to pre-audit or pre-review all of your projects, well, you can do it. It's more if you have a really big project. You say, okay, look, I want to invest $5 million here, but management wants some assurance we're going to get the SR&ED credit, or they're not going to give me the $5 million. And I need to know, I need to find out now before we spend it, not 2 years from now when I get a letter saying, hey, we're not approved, because that's not going to fly. So you can actually write in, and you'll get the reviewer, the RTA, who's on your file. It's called the account executive. He or she will come out, and you'll explain to them. You'll kind of pre-rate, more like a grant process. Here's what I'm planning to do. Here's what my problems are. So you outline the square and triangle, and then what I'm hoping to do. And they'll tell you yay or nay, I think that's in or not. And generally speaking, it's supposedly a non-binding decision, but if you follow what you're going to do, I've never seen them not allow that.
Have they changed that process to a binding one now? Or was that just I know they made a change.
Well, the thing is, as I understand it, it's now up to each assistant director of each office if they even want to do these, right? So the problem is that when you say, do they do this? My answer is, what region are you claiming in first of all, right? Because it should be equivocal across Canada, but more and more, there's less national direction I'm finding, and the assistant directors tell me straight up, Dave, if I have a question and I go to Ottawa, it takes 2 years to get a response. And I'm only given 120 days to assess, or I lose my job because that's what they evaluate me on. So I have to make a decision. I have to just go with what I think is right. So Hamilton's got its rules. Toronto's got its rules. Toronto West has its rules, and they're not the same. Okay. Well, it's up to the assistant director if they even want to do that. So some assistant directors may say, no, we don't do that process. Again, yeah, it's worth asking them. Okay, so generally the assessment times that they're looking at is saying if you file a refundable claim, you're a qualified CCPC, and you file it with your corporate tax return, even if you file the corporate tax return late, they'll try to give you your money within 120 days, as they're stated, and they're pretty good about that. I find it's usually within a month. When they show the averages, it's because some guys get it, a week or two after they file, a majority of guys, and then the other poor guys are waiting a year or two. So the average of 120 days doesn't really look that bad, but numbers can lie if you know how to skew them. Refundable claims TPR. That means I filed my income tax return, and then I subsequently exercised my right under the law to file a SR&ED claim up to 18 months from year end, but I'd already filed my tax return. So in the CRA's view, they're saying, you're the guys that are causing all the problems. That type of claim takes up most of their review resources. They result in they're usually weaker because you did it a year after the fact rather than when it's going on. You've advertised that to them. You didn't have anything put together within 6 months when your tax return was due, and now you're trying to go back and rebuild it, right? And I've talked to people informally, and they're saying, our mandate from Ottawa is rigorously review every TPR. Rigorously review them. So the success rate of a TPR is generally going to be less than if you filed the exact same claim on time, because they don't want you to do it that way. Yes?
Is there any, and this is like later on, so you're doing a catch-up year, you're near the 18-month mark, you've got that encourage year that's going to be filed with the tax return, you've got the historical as well. Any drawing?
Sorry, yeah. So the question, I'll just repeat the question. The question is, what if I'm filing 2 years at once? Maybe I'm a first-time claimant, I filed my current year, but I can go back up to a year. That is one of the situations where it's okay. They generally look at your latest year. If you're in that situation where they realize, the guy's filing 2 because he's catching up, but now he's on side, you're good. It's more, is this person going to continue to file TPRs every year? Those clients, even if their science is good, tend to have real problems, no matter what, no matter how good your claim is. If you consistently file TPRs, the CRA will generally make a problem for you. They'll find some kind of problem. Okay? And non-refundable claims generally are assessed as soon as you file it. I file it, boom, it's assessed, like within a week. But they have the right to come in and review it up to a year later. So that's what freaks the big guys out. Hey, you already assessed this. You gave us all our money. What do you mean you want to come and review it? Well, yeah, that's the way. It's a different process on the large claimants. Okay? So they're accepted when filed, and then they're reviewed after the fact. Whereas the little guys, they know if I give this guy the money and want to take it back, that money's gone. I got to review him before I give him the refundable credits.